Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of P&P's Den of Antiquities. Today, we got another episode in the Star Wars Perspective podcast. It's been about, I'm looking now on my YouTube. It's been about a month since I've done one of these. We've been so into doing these roundtables for all the episodes of everything we've been getting. So it's been a lot of fun. But I'm glad we're kind of getting back to, this is how I started the channel. So getting back to kind of the roots. And today I got Michael, aka Darth Samarius here. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good.
Nice.
Just chilling, enjoying the weekend.
I'm glad we finally got to do this, man. I've been saying we need to do this solo podcast for so long, and I've been so busy, man. It's been tough, but
it's fine though too, because we do all the ones with everyone, and I'm I like talking to people, so I'm just keep going,
Heck yeah. Well, it was funny because we were like, hey, I just saw you the other day. I'm gonna see you tomorrow.
And I'll see you tomorrow.
But usually the first question I ask everybody that comes on the podcast is, what got you into Star Wars, man?
Shoot. I would say, I'd have to say two answers, because I got into Star Wars when I was really young, but I kind of fell away from it for a while. I think a decent amount of younger people did, maybe just because there was a bunch of Star Wars when I was younger. I figured out about it. There was toys, merchandise, etc. It never really went away. But after the pretty much the prequels, there wasn't really anything until the sequels. There was Rogue One, but it was kind of nothing was really starting a new generation of Star Wars fans. So in the very beginning, it was, I guess I couldn't say I remember the exact time I saw that's Star Wars, but I knew who Darth Vader was. I knew who Luke was, and I thought they were super cool. And I'm a laser sword it kills people. And my mom was always you can't watch it till you're a little older. And so me and my brother would just wait, and finally we got to watch it. And we just freaking watched them over and over and over nonstop, crazy, nice. Dude. It was a movie we'd watch. I remember we would always watch the Hoth fight scene, just over and over again, dude. That was our favorite thing. Which
pretty epic. It's pretty epic.
Which I'll get to another funny thing about that with a different thing I would say eventually. But so I got into it and I always loved it. And then it was kind of just dormant for a while. And I was I like Star Wars, and everyone had the toys. I'd get the toys and stuff, but it wasn't the main thing. It was kind of Star Wars is cool, and then that's it. And then Rogue One came out, and I went. It was really cool. That I'm sad it's not there anymore. But in Santa Barbara, my grandma lives about an hour from Santa Barbara, so I think it's more in Lompoc, or it was in Lompoc. It was this little, I think it was 2-theater movie theater, a really small one, and it was right next to my aunt's house. And we're this new Star Wars movie's coming out. Let's go see it. And we go in this tiny little theater. There's no one really there. It's not big or anything, even though it just coming out. And then we saw Rogue One, and it was oh my gosh, that was freaking crazy. I forgot, and Star Wars was new again. And then when I really, really got into it was when the prequels came. And maybe this is why I'm such a big sequels fan, is because I remember when that came out, the first trailer they released was just, I think it was just black or the desert, and then you see the Falcon and then the TIE fighters pass each other, and it says a date. And I was that's so fake, dude. I was that's so fake. I was it doesn't even look the CGI looked real. But
it's funny that you mentioned that, because so many people said that they thought it was not real. I
think it was the font for me. That's the biggest thing, is I'm the font doesn't look right. It doesn't look like they put any effort into font or a custom font. I was just oh, that looks fake. And then I found out it was real, and I'm oh my gosh. And so I think I saw both. Well, I didn't see them opening day. I think I saw both the Force Awakens and Last Jedi was either on, depending when they came out, on Thanksgiving or on Christmas, because that was always tradition. We'd go see a movie on Thanksgiving and go see one on Christmas. So I saw both those, and then Rise of Skywalker I saw opening night, or I guess technically the day after. So the real day it came out, not the cool people one, because I had to work. So I'm damn it, I can't freaking go. And it sold out so fast, dude. I was that sucks. But it was still technically opening night, and so that after Force Awakens came out, and obviously I love Kylo Ren. Like seeing him, I'm like, the first thought I had of him was like, this dude's way cooler than Darth Vader. Which I gotta say, like, Vader's always gonna be Vader, but I think Kylo, like, just the way he looks and like seeing him in that first scene when he comes out, I was like, this dude's so dope. And then they immediately show his face, and I'm like, dang it, like at least wait till the last movie. Right, but yeah, so it was honestly like my mom, she loved it. She got us into it, and then it just kind of like stayed there, and I always loved it. And then once I got older and then the new one started coming out, I started to understand it, and I connect with characters and getting emotional with it and stuff. And then you really started like getting set up, and I got a job, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy lightsabers now. I'm gonna buy Star Wars helmets and all this stuff. I have
adult money.
Yeah, and I'm like, I can waste it all. Like I remember my mom, the first check I ever got, because every time we start a new job, my mom would be like, first check you get, make sure to spend something on yourself as like a reward with your first check. You know, like, don't spend it on. And the first thing I did was buy like a $400 lightsaber.
Nice.
Mom's like, oh my gosh. And yeah, and I love it too, because she's trying to do Rey right now.
Cool.
For London, because I'm going to be with her. So she's like, I want to match you and stuff. And I think for Christmas, I'm going to get her the gold Mothma dress that we saw, or Mon Mothma dress that we saw, because she like loved it. We were going through Cos Sky, and yeah, she'll watch it with me. Like I remember we cried when Luke came out in Mando. Like me and her were both crying.
That was intense. Yeah,
and because she's not like into it, but she really is, you know. So she just doesn't watch it. And then when she comes with me, I'm like, let's go watch it. Or then when we went to Disneyland, I remember I showed her one of the prequels, or sorry, one of the sequels, so that she'd be prepared. And then we went into and this is like my favorite thing ever, when we went into Rise of Resistance, because it's like, to me, that ride's freaking just so amazing. Like,
it's so cool, dude.
Like, it's insane. And I was like so hyped. I'm like, we have to make sure that we walk around Batuu enough and you get in the moment, and then we're gonna fast pass it. And I bought the tickets, and yeah, and so we went down the ship, and then it opens up. Spoilers if anyone hasn't been on it. Yeah. And it opens up to the hangar, and then she's just like, dude, she starts crying and stuff. I'm like, yes. Like, so I give it pretty much all the credit to her for like being that dormant Star Wars fan. That's like, she made me like it, and she still loves it. But I'm like, I didn't even know. But I think I even made a TikTok on it where, saying something like that.
Very cool. That's awesome. Yeah, dude. Those rides are something else, man. Because I went, not too terribly long ago, and I regret. I should have like been like, hey man, I'm here, like what's good.
Yeah, dude.
I messed up, but I'm coming back again, because I didn't get to like, I kind of just went and like got the experience. Like I didn't get to like build the droid or build a saber and stuff like that. Like I know the sabers aren't great. It's just getting the experience of like doing this, because like I haven't watched any of the saber content.
Me
or
neither.
anything like that.
I'm waiting until someone like you comes around and wants to build one, then I'll go in with you and just watch.
Dude, we definitely need to, because I want to, like, I was thinking like, I have seen the sabers though. I will say that because I looked, I was like, prepping. I was like, which saber do I want? And definitely the Rancor one with the tooth at the end. Like that one just looks so freaking cool.
They are cool. That's the thing. They're really cool. They're just too big, I think. Like, if they were just
they're kind of chunky.
Like they would be really nice.
Yeah, for sure. But I want to 3D print some parts and like maybe like do a little paint job on it or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, next time, because I'm definitely coming back. Because you can get everything in one experience, but like
honestly, I don't even think you can. Maybe all Star Wars stuff, yes. Like you can go to the bar, you can go to the restaurant, you can do all that stuff. But with money, it's like the bar by itself is like $100.
Yeah.
And if you want to get like a food and 2 drinks, or 2 alcoholic drinks, an extra drink, whatever. And then droids like 100, lightsabers like 270 now or something after tax. So it's a lot, but
yeah, I remember getting the Rancor, like, because you get to keep the flight or whatever, but that Rancor thing was like, I think like $80-$90 just for like the whole thing. And in my opinion, it's where I don't drink, but I was like, I don't care. It's like I need to get the the Rancor.
My friend wanted it, and he ended up getting it, and it's beer, and like he's into beer kind of, and I'm like, I hate beer. I'm like, I don't like beer at all. And so he's like, can we get it just without the beer? And he's like, sure, but it's gonna be the same price So we kind of look at each other and we're like, well, it's still alcohol. Like, I guess we'll take it. And we're just sitting there like, like trying to drink it. And then we like just got kind of a little buzzed and we're like, let's go.
Nice. So yeah, I want to try like I think it's like the Yub Nub or whatever. Cause I want the little, like the tiki thing that you get with it.
I know. I want that it's the indoor like wooden one. That one's so cool. But
yeah,
I just talk a lot.
Yeah, that one looks really cool. And then I finally got to eat the Ronto wraps, man. Those things are hype, dude.
They're so good.
Did they change them though? Because like the Ronto wrap because I bought the cookbook or whatever, like right when like Galaxy's Edge first came out, and like the Ronto wrap that I ate versus the Ronto wrap that I see like in the cookbook or whatever, it's different.
Really?
Yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah, I know I saw it in there. I didn't look at it in detail. I don't doubt that it's different because they don't want to give like their recipes, because I know there is ones in there. Like there's more obviously in the book as well. And there's stuff that like we don't even have in California. But no, I think, I don't know if you remember, but I don't remember there being a breakfast version. And last time I went, there was a breakfast one, which was really good. I think
I watched,
even better.
Because I watched, I don't know if you know that channel, but Ash and Brian with Always Believe. I love them. Yeah, dude. They talk about like inspiration, dude. Like I love how they're just like creating and having fun.
Just like how they met and like that story. Yeah, I was so happy I got to meet them at Star Wars Celebration this past year.
Oh no way, dude! Yeah, that's sick.
Like, oh my gosh, it's you guys. And I gotta say, I 100% called the pregnancy. Like, I only talked to my girlfriend about it. And I was like, I'm pretty sure she's pregnant. And it was just this like fleeting thing, you know? But then, they released that picture. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
They did that Yoda quote. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. You know?
Yeah, dude.
Good for them, man. I think that's going to be cool.
That's going to be insane. Be a Disney Star Wars baby.
Yeah, right. That kid's going to have a good life for sure. So if this one... It's always between this one and another question I'm going to ask you that I say are the hardest questions. But if you had to pick one thing about Star Wars, what would be your favorite thing? It could be like literally anything, any concepts, characters, ships, lightsabers, like just whatever, your favorite thing. Like when you think of Star Wars, like what is your favorite? Like what comes to mind? Like what's your favorite thing about it?
I think for me, I think it'll definitely be a concept, because I think that's why we like Star Wars. Like, yes, it's cool, but you could take Star Wars, for example, Harry Potter. Not everyone likes Harry Potter, but I like Harry Potter because it's a lot like Star Wars in ways.
Yeah, and I think I dog on Harry Potter a little bit. I'm like, it's just a crappy Star Wars.
It is. It definitely is. But I'm also like, but I like Star Wars, so like Harry Potter's pretty cool.
Oh no, Harry Potter's dope. I just like to pick on it.
No, yeah, I do the same thing. And so the concept, I think, like in the same, if you switch stuff around, is still like valuable. So like if Star Wars was a little different or whatnot, I think people would still like it because pretty much. I would have to say, like, I guess the overall, like, just like what they say, I guess, is like hope, and it just this pretty much I feel like the first people that really started this whole like the rebellion is the good guys type thing, like resist and fight back and like make change where change needs to be made, and like just growing up. And this is what's something that's definitely, and you'll agree with me, Luke is my favorite by far as well.
Let's go.
I have his lightsaber tattoo.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so I love Luke, and like as a kid growing up, like watching him and starting to learn as I grew up, like what he was really doing, and going from like the hero as a kid's perspective of like he's fighting and like he's in battle. And that just, it's like, it's cool to being like, oh my gosh, this guy's like fighting for the galaxy to like save everything. It's his dad. Like all these things really resonated with me. And I'm like, I looked up to him and I'm like, this dude's like freaking amazing. Like he genuinely is like my hero. And so, just that throughout all Star Wars, you see it's a very, very deep, like even with Anakin, like you were just saying on, last night you were saying like Anakin is only in 2 movies, but like so many people connect with him because like he just has that effect. And when the reason why he's so beloved is because like there's so much depth to Star Wars, because he did great acting, but he also like he wasn't an insane actor. Like he didn't bring crazy amount to it, but the mix of Star Wars.
I think some of the dialogue they kind of said.
Yeah, no, it's not his bad.
Yeah,
because he did great, but like the mix of Star Wars and this light versus dark, and then his like acting, or like even with Kylo, like I know Kylo's seen as like wimpy and stuff, but freaking Kylo did or Adam Driver did so
he's
good.
He's a goat, dude.
Kylo.
Him and everything he does is he nails it.
You never realize this until you like go through certain experiences, and like I've been through stuff where I'm like, this is really hard, and then you watch something like Anakin or Kylo going through something, and then you go through that, and then you watch it again after, and you're like, damn, I feel that now. And so many movies are, they're good, but they're action and killing people, or they're like love and romance. So it's very typical, but Star Wars is everything. And it's like you can pull every part or every emotion and like from each movie, and like that just whole emotional like drive behind it. I think that in general is like the best thing about Star Wars, because I think
for sure
it would be impossible to say that that's not at least a good part, because Star Wars wouldn't be Star Wars without that. It'd literally just be laser sword and fighting, and like any bad movie, not bad, but like movies you see that are like spin-offs and B movies, like Star Wars in the beginning, that's such a B movie. Like in the beginning, like Harrison Ford, he's like, I don't even want to do this, like all these puppets around, like it was like not great, but it was because of what it expressed. And so that I think that Star Wars has kept that for most part, and I love that
for sure. I thought it was so funny that like George and I think Steven Spielberg, they went to like Hawaii or something like that when the movie released, because George just thought it was going to tank so hard. Yeah. And I guess he just came back and was like, what the hell is going on?
I know. It almost surprises me. I'm like, how did it do so well? I mean, dude,
it pulls so many things together, dude. And like, believe it or not, for like, I agree, like the quality, like for at least for the first couple ones, that they were gridlocked in 70s, so they could only do so much. Like
which is crazy, because they still had like amazing, like not CGI, but whatever it was, like they're filming with the space and everything. Like that was like, everyone's like, how did they even do that? Like that no one's ever seen that stuff before. And everyone saw freaking lasers shooting at spaceships and stuff. Yeah. It looked that good, at least.
No, but going back to like the emotions, I remember there was like this one scene in the sequels that like really got me. I had I think the year that Rise of Skywalker came out, that summer I had like lost my dad, and when Rise of Skywalker came out in December, and when I saw the scene with Harrison where he goes, "Hey kid," dude, and you want to talk about bawling like a baby.
Yeah.
Like they brought so much, and that's the thing that I think you were kind of playing into, is like you can bring that kind of like, even though like I didn't like kill my dad like Kylo killed Han Solo, you can still kind of like feel that you see it in his face. He's like literally like he's like been tortured for killing his dad like the whole movies, and then he gets to that kind of like, he like chunks his saber and he like kind of gets to like bury the hatchet, and man, I don't know what it was about that, but that one just that tore me up so much. And that's I think that's real. People can equate, even if it's not the same thing, a lot of the scenes in Star Wars to stuff that actually happens to them in real life. And I think you were really touching on something there with like the emotions and stuff like that.
It's so connective. Anyone can watch it, and if they don't like it, like, they'll be like, oh wow, like I get that. Like I get why Anakin killed kids. Like he was really messed up.
He was tormented. Yeah. Well, he didn't want to too. That was the thing, is I think the thing that like drove him, I read it in some like article or something like that. The reason why he ends up like wiping them out is because like he's reminded of like all the things that are wrong with the Jedi, because the little kid goes, Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. What are we going? And he wasn't a master. Like he wasn't he wasn't a master on. So
I
it
didn't really notice that.
Yeah, so it brought back all the emotions of like what was wrong. Like the Jedi are basically forcing him to do this because he can't save Padme because he doesn't have the knowledge of like the archives and stuff like that. Like the place that like Dooku goes into, and Tales where he like deletes Kamino.
Oh yeah.
Like I think only a select few people can go in that. Like you have to be a master like on the council to be able to go into that. And that's why he used Sifo Dyas's codes, because he wasn't a master on the council.
Yeah.
So it was just it's so crazy, like just the little things you pick up within Star Wars. Like it's
also so like relivable. Like you can watch it over and over again and you'll always notice something new. Like even with all the podcasts I've been on with you guys, like every single time you're like, oh yeah, the person like that character last night. I'm like, I didn't even know that werewolf looking dude existed.
Yeah,
like, who is that? You know? Yeah, and I'm like, there's just so much, and you can always just rewatch it all the time, and like you become a bigger fan, and the bigger fan you become after watching it multiple times, you start looking for more things, which makes you watch it again, which makes you become a bigger fan. So it's just like I'll watch it a million times and be happy. Like I remember when Rise of Skywalker came out on Disney Plus, I watched it like 2 times in a row, and then I like went to bed, and then I woke up the first thing in the morning. I was like, I'm gonna watch it again.
Nice.
Dude. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah. I remember that I started watching the background stuff actually because of a TikTok. So there was a TikTok of Revenge of the Sith, and that Revenge of the Sith is probably like my most watched. It's like Revenge of the Sith and Phantom Menace, because I like putting the Phantom Menace on just when I work. Like it's like good background noise because there's so much going on.
For sure.
But in Revenge of the Sith, when Isla Secura's on like Felucia, in the background a clone trooper is riding like a giant like blue worm.
Yeah, dude.
In the background, and I saw that TikTok, and I was like, I've seen Revenge of the Sith like hundreds of times,
and I never
noticed. Like, there's so much little stuff, like droids like poking at each other when like Grievous is about to like do his like lightsaber thing. Like, there's a droid in the background. He kind of like nudges his buddy to like pay attention and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
It's super fun, because especially I find myself doing that so much. Is like you'll be watching Star Wars and you're like, I'm like, I only really noticed after the fact, but I'm like, I can remember what happens already. Like I can picture in my head. So I'm kind of like looking off at other stuff, but I'm like watching in my head type thing. And so it doesn't really feel like you're missing it, because you're like, oh yeah, like I can play it in my head perfectly. I've seen this so many times. And so I'm like not really watching the movie while watching the movie.
Yeah.
Like I like that, because I'm like, what's going on over there? And then I'm like, that's happening. Yeah, I know. And, back to the main thing.
Definitely. So I kind of want to talk about like you and your kind of relationship with cosplay. Like what kind of sparked cosplay for you, and then what kind of like, I know you're we can talk about like your Kylo and stuff like that, because you've had some pretty big stuff happen with that, but like what kind of led you down the path of cosplay, and then like also like what kind of led you into like kind of, would you say Kylo's kind of your main cosplay out of everything?
Oh yeah, no, he definitely is.
So what kind of like sparked that, and then what kind of led you to the path of like Kylo Ren's like that's gonna be like my main guy? That's like what kind of led you down that road?
So, well, I'll answer first with cosplay in general, where that came from. Like, I guess I couldn't really say I knew exactly. Like, I liked armor and everything, but I think the biggest thing was just like accessibility. And my mom would work, in the summers or whatnot, and there was like not a big necessarily, but she worked with like all family friends, like all of our family's friends and everything were all there. So in the summers when we didn't have school and we were like younger, we'd go there, and like there was a bunch of computers, so all of us would play and mess around and go run around. This is a little place called Old Town, and the companies all would like throw away their cardboard in the trash can, so I'd take that and I would like cut it up and I'd make like armor with it. Yeah, and I remember like my favorite thing, because it's so easy, was just you make like a cylinder that has like a point at the bottom, and then you make the top part, and you just cut 2 squares, and it's like the cylinder knight helmet, and then like I draw on it. And so I would just do that all the time, and I started getting better and better and better. And then I kind of stopped for a while, but then my parents saw like, oh, EVA foam, that's cool. I didn't know people made stuff out of foam. Like I didn't know one day, and then I did. So I started trying that, and by the time I had done that for about like a year and tried a lot of stuff, 3D printing was getting big. So then I was like, well, that's even easier. So I just kind of went from like I still use cardboard for my first ever cosplay, which was my Titanfall original character, and it wasn't good. And then it was bad, like no weathering, it was just paint like with a brush and everything on cardboard. And and then I went like 2 months of like I was working a lot, and I didn't have any time except for just like sit at home, no energy or time. So when I'd just watch only like tutorials on how to do foam, on cosplay stuff, different glues, like everything you possibly did, because I was really interested. Until once I started, my schedule changed and I had more time. I was like, I'm gonna remake the armor, and then it, not to toot my own horn, but it was good enough to where I still wear it nowadays, and I'm still happy with it. So, and after that, it was pretty much just like, yeah, I'm gonna buy more stuff, I'm gonna make more stuff. I'm kind of more to the buying stuff now. Like everything that you ever see, I've pretty much done something to it if I'm gonna wear it. Like Kylo, I've obviously ordered majority of that, but I weathered the saber. I made the saber blade, or like the blade cover. I did the belt, completely did the belt on my own, and like did some custom stuff to little here and there. But then to get into Kylo, it's kind of a mix. So like obviously, like I said, in the Force Awakens when he came out, I was like, this dude's freaking sick. I love it. That's why I'm doing the Force Awakens one. I think it's just the coolest, like looking. It just looks dope. Like I guess I don't know how to explain it, but it looks freaking dope. And I like the more like obviously Kylo's human, Vader's robot, and so like you can tell like he's like Vader has like armor, and he has like puffy kind of like futuristic looking material, and he has lights and buttons. But Kylo, I was like, I'm pretty positive it's like just a human, because like he has like cloth and like everything's drooping and soft, and it was a very big like change, and it's like very rugged, and I like the realistic rugged. Like Vader doesn't look fake necessarily, but he looks very futuristic and stuff. And Kylo looks like more or less what you'd see if someone in real life was back in medieval times, like wanted to fight. That's like what they'd wear. And so pretty much when it first started, I liked him. Last Jedi came out, and I was like, I don't really like him anymore. Like this dude's a rascal. Like when I first saw it, I loved it. I still love Last Jedi. I don't care what anyone thinks. It's amazing. It's
hey man, this is your Star Wars story, so you can like and say whatever you want to.
I like what they did with Luke. I think Luke's perfectly fine in that movie. I think that's exactly how anybody should be. Just saying. But yeah, so I didn't really love Kylo because I'm like, okay, he's a little like whiny. Because I'm also looking at it as a cosplay perspective. So I'm like, do I want to be that character if he's like that? Then Rise of Skywalker came out, and then that like redeemed it for me. And after all that, it's kind of, while that's all going on, I was growing my TikTok, and I think I was at like 13,000 followers, and I had a few videos blowing up and stuff, and every single time people would say, you look like Kylo Ren, you look like Adam Driver, like you're him, like cosplay him, do this and that. And eventually I'm like, okay, well, like I have money, it's not like super expensive outfit off like Cosguy or whatnot, so I was like, I'll buy it. And then I bought it, and kind of getting into that and like being that character, and then watching the movie again, I'm like starting to connect with him more. I'm starting to mature. I had a lot of big stuff happen in my life that, like I said before, I'm like, okay, now I can watch it over and I like connect with this dude's pain, and I can like feel that. And then and that just keeps piling on. So I'm like, I'm being that character, and then I'm watching it again, I'm more connecting, so then I want to be that character more, and then I connect more. And I went from that, and then I got the Black Series helmet, which was no bueno. I do not recommend it. It's terrible. And then I got Cybercraft helmet, which is also not at all very great. And then I had the Black Series lightsaber, and then I got this lightsaber. I sold both those helmets to buy the Anovos helmet. And then in the past about, I guess like 6 months, I spent just saving and spending on Kylo's stuff for 501st Legion based off all that approval. And I finally have all of it. It's completely done. The Force Awakens, and I got approved for 501st, and I'm set to do everything. Yeah, and so it's definitely like, it doesn't feel real. I think it will once I like go and do my first event, or like when I go to Comic-Con or LA Comic-Con and like see the booth there, and I'm like, what's up? Like I'm with you guys. But yeah, so it really just went from kind of being, I mean, because I wasn't that old when Force Awakens came out.
I think Force Awakens came out in 2015, I want to say.
Yeah, so then I was either 15 or 16, I guess 16. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I had a lot of life to live. I didn't have like my first real relationship at that point. I didn't go through tons of hard stuff. And so from there to now, maturing and growing up, and then also being Kylo with that, is just like bonded me to that character heavily. Cool. So I'm like, yeah, so I'm like, I'm that guy. I mean, I look like him, which was like technically the reason I started, which I like. But yeah, so it's been a roller coaster, and I've done a bunch of stuff to get to the 501st and Kylo approved replica stuff. But yeah, definitely my main guy right there.
How did you so did you start your cosplay before Last Jedi or after Last Jedi?
I started it I do not know. I could probably check, but
because I was gonna say, like, if you started it before, how did you feel buying that helmet and then him like smashing it to pieces?
Dude, I'm gonna have to say before now, because like I don't know. I feel like before, because that definitely, I was like, what? I remember thinking that, being like, damn. I just remember thinking,
all this money.
Yeah, like I can't wear the helmet with it anymore. That sucks,
Because I feel like that's the same thing with like people who like, because there's like giant like Razor Crest groups on Facebook and stuff like that, of people who built the Razor Crest, and then in season 2 it just gets obliterated. Like, and they like did not time that well at all, because I think at the time Hasbro was like, so they do like the funding thing, and I think they were trying to get the Razor Crest funded to like put it into production or whatever. And I want to say I don't think it did get funded, but it might have. I don't remember. But like literally, I was like, you couldn't have picked a worse time to blow up the Razor Crest, because everybody was just like, nah, I don't care anymore. It doesn't have anymore. Like, who cares? But I mean, arguably he got a cooler ship out of it, but like, the Razor Crest was still freaking sick.
Like, just sell it before they know it blows up, so we can sell more of the new one.
Right. What would you, if you had any advice to somebody who's like looking to get into cosplay or anything like that, whether it's buying, making, like kind of references to what to look for, what would you give like somebody who's kind of looking to get into it? Do you have any advice that you would give them?
Yeah. I guess I'll say two things, and disclaimer beforehand is, one thing I always say is anything that's considered cliche is more likely to be like the most important advice that you'll ever hear. So with that said, like, you just gotta do it. Like, if you want to cosplay,
just do it.
Yeah, just do it. If you want to cosplay, literally, it's like, it's so simple. When it comes to money, yes, that's the hardest part, but after that, it's literally doable. Like, if you want to have a Kylo 501st and you have money to spend, you 100% have it. You measure yourself, you send it in someone, they send it to you. It's literally that simple. If you want a blaster or something, literally go onto YouTube or order a 3D printed blaster, go on YouTube and get a paintbrush and what they say, and like, you will make something that you will be like, I freaking did that. Like, even my first cosplay, I still wear it today. I'm like, I can't even believe I did that. Like, that was my first one. Like, I'm so proud about it. And you literally just, if you want something, like, I've seen so many people just pick up a brush, pick up spray paint. They have never done any prop molding before. And I'm just like, here you go. Just like, try this. And they're like, do it. And they're like, oh, that wasn't that hard. And I'm like, no. Like, of course, there's things that are going to be harder. It's going to take probably years to really get down skill. I like with CGS props, like how he does his stuff. I'm like, I'm not at that level. That's great. But I'm like, my
awesome.
stuff, my stuff looks good, and it's still going to take a while to get like even better. But like, you can do so much more than you think you can, and then you're so much more capable of doing it. Like, I still don't even. I look around and I'm like, how do I like even have this stuff? Like, how did I get it? Like, how did I get my 501st Kylo? How did I get all these like things and take these cool pictures. I'm like, is that like me? Like, I feel like sometimes it's not. And like, I don't feel sometimes like I can do that, or like I'm deserving of my following, or like some of the things people say. But at the end of the day, it's like they're the ones that are right. Like, they see me how I should look at myself. Like, of course, never be cocky, but you know, you're very capable to do literally any of the things you want to do, and it's going to be harder for some, easier for some, but it's possible for anybody. And anybody who cosplays, anybody who makes props or 3D prints or anything like that will be like, yeah, it's a lot easier than you'd think. And the first leap is the best thing you can ever do, because, you know, I just talked to this person today, the lady that cuts my hair, and she's always been like the person that does it, and she likes that stuff. And she's like, oh, like, you know, are you going to cons or whatever? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I don't go because I have social anxiety. And I'm like, try to go for me, please. Because like she was saying she wants to look for Star Wars fans. I'm like, there's so many of us out there. And I was talking about everyone on the podcast, and I met these guys I never knew, and they're like so nice. And like, if you want, you know, if you're looking for friends that do the same things you want to do, or a spouse even, like, you know, the woman I met is like, before I met her, I never even knew it was like possible to have someone like me, where I'm like, they love Star Wars and they'll cosplay with me and go airsofting and like all these things. And it's literally waiting for you right there. Like, we're all waiting for anybody. You know, Star Wars fans can be crazy, yes, but at the end of the day, there's so many more of us that are like, come on, like, come watch and build with us. And if you do that, like, we're all here waiting for you. And like, you can DM me, message me, anybody that wants to ask anything. I'm assuming that you can do the same with anything that Max, you know, might know. And
100%.
That's how it is. And just go do it, man.
Well said, my dude. I couldn't agree more. It's just like, it's crazy because like when you had mentioned the cardboard, I don't know if I forget his name, but there's a dude on like TikTok and YouTube who he makes like all his helmets, all his stuff out of cardboard. He's like a cardboard guy, and he just does
it's like insane.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh my god. I mean, I've never been good at like making I've never really tried cardboard per se, but like, man, that just seems so tough. I was like, dude, holy crap.
No, yeah, I think he's the same one that makes like he'll make like functioning guns and stuff that shoot. Yeah. I'm like, how do you even like do that, dude?
But it's just like you said, it's just that like that willpower, just like, hey, I might fall flat on my face, but I'm just gonna get right back up and keep trying again and trying again, you know. So it's like,
yeah. And I guess the last point because you kind of brought it up, is like the willpower to do it. We were talking last night about how just like capable the human brain is for creating, and you named your company, you know, Creations, because creating is very important to you. And like, I'll tell you guys right now, if you you know, think that I'm like, I jot everything down and I figure out all the dimensions, everything perfect, and like make this masterpiece, it's like, that's not it at all. Like, the other day I was walking and I saw an AC unit, and I'm like looking at it, and my friend's like, what are you doing? You know, she's all like, I'm like confused or whatever. And then I like went and I cut off the I think it's right here. Yeah, I cut off the little thing for it, and it's like the little plug part. And I'm like, it's a perfect like mic. Like, if you were to like put right here, like on a Star Wars mic and paint it,
yeah.
Like, just it comes to you. So like when you start getting in that mindset, your brain will create for you. And I'm not the type of person that figures everything out beforehand and sketches it in dimensions. Like, yes, that's good. Try to do that. But if you want to make something, just like start doing it, and it'll turn into something, because your brain's gonna do it for you.
Oh yeah. Well, especially too with like, my biggest thing is like, I always tell people, man, go garage selling and go thrift shopping, because you would not believe how many like electronic pieces that you can get little greebles off if you're trying to make your own stuff, or like trying to make something that's like Star Wars inspired. Like, you can get so many things. Like, I have a box in my garage of just like random shit, just like random stuff, but I'm just like, I don't know what I can use that for, but like one day I might be able to like use it for like some Star Wars project.
That is the best thing about being in construction, is like, there's so much like stuff that comes that's just wasted. They're like, oh, this is the packaging for it, or this is like extra stuff. I take all of it, dude. Like, give it all to me. You're not. I've used so much, like my Mandalorian gauntlets from my OC that I eventually will do. I have like 100 pieces that I like can use. I can only fit like 5 things probably, but I'm like, what do I put on here? What's gonna look cool? And I have like all this crazy stuff. But yeah, that's great, dude. Just let your brain do the work. You don't even have to like really push yourself. Just be like, okay, I'm gonna try, and then you're probably gonna succeed.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. And if you don't, just keep on trying, because you're gonna get there. It might be first time, it might be the 100th time, but you're gonna get there eventually, man.
This will happen.
But let's go down. This is probably the longest question I would say that I'm gonna ask you is, starting from the Phantom Menace all the way to the Rise of Skywalker. You can add in like Solo and Rogue One if you want, like the spin-offs, but you don't have to. Just really the main, but you can add them if you want to, if you have the list 1 or 2 or however many you want to, stuff that sticks out to you from each movie.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, some are like objects, some are like, you know, not theories, but like the overall feel of the movie.
For sure.
Kind of like before. So yeah, first one is just probably, I'd have to say like the best thing is like pod racing for me.
Oh yeah.
It's it's so different. It's so like back alley, black market styled, which we've seen in Star Wars, but it's not like I don't know, pod racing was just so different, I feel like. And you see young Anakin, and like he's like learning to become this best star pilot in the galaxy, and he's doing that. It's just like, yeah, it's such a different feel. I guess I really don't know how to explain it, but pod racing, I guess, is just overall.
I feel you on that. Yeah, because my dad was really big into Speed Racer, and like that is very pod racer kind of vibes, where they all have different cars and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know if you ever played the pod racing N64 game, but I played that growing up, and I'm like, how has there not been another pod racing game? Like,
dude, for real, I didn't know.
Make a pod racing game, give it like a very loose story. Like, basically, you want to be you're a new hotshot racer, and you want to race all the circuits and become the best. And then make it to where you can customize and build your own pod racer to like out of different parts, and you can get different parts from scrapyard. Like, that sounds like such a cool idea. Like, I wish they would do it.
Imagine free roam too.
Oh, dude, it would be great. That'd be great. You can go and like test your pod racer, like see how fast you can get it and stuff like that. You just like, that'd be sick.
Yes. Okay, so then for the second one is the Battle Geonosis.
Oh yeah.
For Clone Wars.
For sure.
There's so much good stuff in Clone Wars, but for me it's just like literally the clones. Like, I'll always like Phase 2 more than Phase 1, but Phase 1's like right there.
Dude,
like,
it's just like
it's so like
it's the fin, dude. It's so iconic.
Like that long mouth.
Phase 2 is definitely a better design for sure, but there's just something classic about that Phase 1. You know? Yeah,
dude, it's great, and I hope to have one soon, because the Phase 2 helmet was the first time I saw that was the first ever helmet. I'm like, I want that. Yeah. And then I was able to get it. Finally, it's right here, and I'm like, dream complete. Like, I'll just look at that thing. It's so shiny. But yeah, Battle Geonosis, specifically the part where Yoda, I don't know if you saw the meme, maybe it was sent into our chat, but how Yoda is like the only time he speaks normal when they're like shooting down that big ball ship or whatever.
Like, did you just talk normal? He's like, shut up.
Yeah, and that scene where the dust is coming and they're freaking shooting and stuff is just
dude, epic. It's
like sand, and
you get Mace Windu running and Kit Fisto smiling and shit. Yeah,
Fisto's dirty old teeth, old dusty. Yeah, and so just like the Battle Geonosis, when they come in on the LAAT and all that is just amazing. RIP to that one clone. I always recognize that like everyone's getting on and he gets like shot right before he gets on the ship, and like everyone leaves except for like him because he's dead.
RIP.
Yeah, so yeah, for clones, RIP that guy. For Revenge of the Sith, because this one's so hard, because like
just the whole movie.
Yeah, the entire movie is my favorite part, even though it's not my favorite movie. But I'd have to say like the intro because like obviously the ending is like amazing. The ending is like technically better. I would say it's better in general, but my favorite part is the intro, because you see that it's like the first really good space fight.
It's like done.
Yeah, like it's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, dude. They come through, they got their Jedi starfighters, which are just like so classic. Like those are just like such a cool ship. We haven't ever been able to see enough of them.
Yep.
And then the ARC 170s are just,
dude, I am so sad, dude. I had one of those. I had
the Legos.
No, I had like the toy of it.
Really?
And I lost it in storage. Like the storage got flooded and like everything got. I had a Millennium Falcon, a life-size Millennium Falcon, and a life-size one of those, and it just
life-size gone.
Or not life-size, but you know, like I'm like, if I ever win the lottery, it's like I'm buying a large plot of land and I'm building a Falcon, like the one that they have at Galaxy's Edge.
Dude,
like, I'm building it. You know,
I'll be there to help. I'll do all the electrical on that.
Heck yeah, dude, that's what's up.
Yeah, so that intro fight was just crazy. I freaking love it. It's like, I think too, what really connected me to it is like, I guess I don't remember what it's called, and I'm still so sad they never added it in the new Battlefronts, but the one where it's like ship to ship, and you can like fight in the ship, and you got to destroy the reactors and the engines on the back and the shield. And then you can get in a ship and fly over and either fight in space or fly into the enemy ship. Yeah, like doing that all the time, and then you get to see like that in the movie. It was just like crazy.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. No, that's the one thing. Like Battlefront 2, like the original Battlefront 2. I don't think it's my favorite Star Wars game, but with saying that, I do think it's the best Star Wars game that's ever come out. Yeah, I just think like it literally came out in 2005 or 2007, and people still play it and mod it till this day. Like that says something, dude. You know?
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely, because I had way more fun playing Battlefront 2 nowadays because I'm older and I get competitive and like really spend time. But younger, like I've never been happier playing Battlefront 2 nowadays as I was as a kid playing that. Like.
For sure.
Probably couldn't even kill anybody. I don't even remember, but I wasn't good. But you're just like, I'm in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, it was like a dream friggin' playing that. I remember, I think we played it was a SpongeBob like Xbox or Wii or something. Like my cousin had it, and that's all he had. And it was like his SpongeBob's face, and it was like a sponge. I don't know why, but it was just like, okay.
Nice.
Yeah. And then, so Solo, I have to say Solo in general. Like, yes, he's not Harrison Ford. He never will be.
He killed it though, dude.
He killed it so good, dude. And I watched it the other day again because I'm like, I want to watch Star Wars, but like, what have I not watched that much? And Solo, I'm like, okay, I've watched it like twice or three times. And I haven't watched it in a while. And dude, I watched it and like, it just hit way different this time watching it. I think it's been so long.
So good, dude.
It was like, it's good. It's really funny, but it's also like, I guess just because of experiences since I watched it before, like I've been talking about, like seeing Val like die, and then the monkey guy, like, I was so John sad. Yeah, dude, I was like, no, dude, like this is so sad. Like I didn't feel super sad before. I was sad, but it's like, and then Kira at the end leaving and seeing Maul.
Yeah, dude. We need a Crimson Dawn show, man, with her and Maul. Like, come on, Disney. If you're watching this, Crimson Dawn, everybody wants it
to be done. We got Max can be Maul. We already got that, and then obviously we have Kira. I forget her real name, but
I can't be Ray Park or Sam Witwer, man. They're the goats. Like I can't. As much as I would, I'll be a background.
They can just dub you, but you can be the stunt double.
Hey, there we go. I'll just stand there. Like if there's like a standing scene, they need somebody to just stand there in the suit. I got you.
There you go. Yeah, and so Solo. I mean, obviously, I've mentioned on other pods, like I'm doing Solo, the young Solo now. So I'm really excited about that because he like if Harrison Ford wasn't a thing, I'd have to say I'd probably prefer him as Solo. Not because like Han's bad or Harrison Ford's bad, but back then the acting's so different. So like if you look at the two young Solos, like acting methods and everything are so good that like this Solo, take away Harrison Ford, is like he's a freaking great Han Solo. So I'm like I love it.
I think he even nailed because I think both Donald Glover as Lando and Alden as Han Solo, like they're not doing like caricatures. They're like kind of bringing a little bit of their own flavor, but like adding also like the way like he's like shooting and stuff like that. You can tell he like studied how Han is kind of shooting. He kind of does that little like how Han does that like little gun thing, like how he's like the way he holds the gun is weird, but but he's doing the same thing. Like the only thing I think that I was really like okay about Solo was how he got his name, and that was like such a minor thing to me that I'm just like, dude, everything else is great. It's like just like the guy was like, you don't have anybody? Solo. Like that was like okay, but like literally everything else I thought was great, you know.
I think they could have like done a little better, because that was like one of the bigger things in the movie, like his name, like how do you get his name, like no one even really asked that question a ton, I feel like. So they could have done better, but I mean, it's cool to see that stuff. I forget, it's the same thing, like I always look at that and then Jack Sparrow in his newest movie, Dead Man Tell No Tales or whatnot, how they explain how he got his name, and I'm like, I love when movies do that. So seeing Solo that, I was like, okay, that's cool.
Well, what I thought would have been a cooler way, so I don't know if you watch Game of Thrones or you're big into like Game of Thrones or anything like that.
Unfortunately.
But so I'm sure you've probably heard of this character called Jon Snow. And Snow is obviously like not his real name. Snow is what they give bastards, like if like your husband fools around with another woman and that woman has a kid, that's like your surname. I would have thought it would have been cool if that would have happened, because I think in one of like the Legends books or whatever, Han Solo is actually like a prince or something like that. Like he's he comes from like a lineage. But like I wouldn't even say do that. I think just like make Solo like a bastard. I'd be like I don't have anybody, and he'd be like, okay, Solo, because that's like the Solo is like the bastards like galaxy or whatever. Like that
would be cool,
you know.
Yeah. So, now knowing that, because obviously I didn't before, but now knowing that, that would have been pretty dope.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so Rogue One is just the overall World War II like vibe.
The grittiness.
Then, mixed with that is like, it felt like an original movie. One of the first three. Like the prequels, obviously way different, but like that felt like it was right in the same era, same time. Like I think one of the best characters, and he's not in it a ton, but is Blue Leader. Like his mustache, his hair, like he looks like a dude vibes. From the freaking 70s. And like, everything they did in that movie was like spot on. Like they got the World War II vibes correct. They got the originality. They got the whole spy and like emotions, everything. I think it's overrated, I will say. I think it's overrated because some people are like, that's easily the best one. I think that it's visually like insanely stunning, and it does have everything's amazing, but it obviously lacks some things like lightsabers, for example. But I don't in any way think it's bad. I think it's like a little bit overrated, but it's amazing movie, and I'm like, I love that we can have stuff like the prequels and then stuff like that, and then the originals and the sequels, and like it's the same but different. I agree. It's like I always compare it to Call of Duty. Like every Call of Duty that comes out, people are like, like they'll say, oh, this one, like make sure to keep this in it and make sure to change this, and then so they change a bunch of stuff, and then they're like, the last one was better, like you changed too much stuff. You guys didn't want the same thing.
Right.
Now you're saying you want the same thing again. So I like that, where it's like they change it but they don't do it too much to each Star Wars. So I'm like, so that whole vibe of 70s, the OG and like World War II vibes were amazing.
Heck yeah.
And then going to the originals, New Hope is definitely there's so many hard ones. I was going to say the Trench Run, because like that one's just so good.
Yeah, it's very cool.
But definitely, and this connects to another big thing for me in a different movie, but the ending ceremony, when they walk down the aisle, they get the medals. Chewie doesn't get his for some reason. And they get the medals. Like that song is, I think I'd have to, because the Rebel theme is also, I think it's called Rise of the Resistance or something, like the Resistance theme. That one's a great one, but the end credits. I think it's called End Credits and Ceremony or something. Like that one is my favorite song because of that scene. Like it was just so freaking cool. That was the first movie I obviously ever saw, and like, you know, before you realize there's so much more, it's like one movie thing. So you're like, oh yeah, this all happened and now it's like over. And so I was like sad. I'm like, Star Wars is like over, you know, not really thinking about it being little. And yeah, I'm like, that's amazing. Like Luke's freaking awesome. He has a cool yellow jacket and like his lightsaber, and you know, Leia's freaking gorgeous, and you know, Han like came back, like, so everything wrapped up with that music, dude. That music is just like,
oh yeah, it's like da, da, da,
I love that. Like, yeah,
da, da, da,
dude, like it just reminds me of Disneyland so much too, because I love, like, I'll wait for every time on Star Tours. I'm like, I hope that's playing when I come out, you know, because like sometimes they switch it up a little bit, but like, oh yeah, so definitely the ending scene for that one.
Dude, well, real quick though, we listened to, it was Dragon and Neil. We listened to the radio drama for that, and in that radio drama, it's a long one. It's like a 4-hour cut of of A New Hope, but they add scenes in it. So like there's like stuff like, so there's like more intro. It shows like Luke's with like Biggs and stuff like that. Like there's a whole intro that's like not even in the movie. There's a lot of like the deleted scenes.
I've seen some of it.
But at the throne room, the reason why I'm bringing this up is the throne room scene. You find out that Luke, so like his yellow jacket and all that stuff, that's Han's clothes.
Oh yeah,
that Han gave to Luke, because Luke only had the farm boys like outfit.
Oh yeah, huh?
That's all he had. Like he left
wears
home.
that on the Falcon for like a bit.
Yeah. It's like that's literally all he had. Like he literally left with his lightsaber and the farm, because he was like, Han's like, hey kid, how's the fit or whatever. And he's like, oh, it's a little loose. He's like, it's a little loose. He's like, you'll go grow into it, or some smirky thing Han says. And I was just like, yo, that's so cool. Like just like their friendship is like he was just like, hey kid, you don't have clothes, here's the clothes, you know, or something like that. That's super cool. Yeah, I did not know that. So that's always like headcanon for me, that like Han gave Luke all those clothes and stuff.
Yeah, now I'm gonna look. Now I'm gonna watch and be like, yeah, it does look a little big on him. Yeah. So then, and I kind of mentioned this before. So with the why am I blanking? Empire Strikes Back. Definitely the Hoth intro.
Oh yeah.
Like anything Hoth, amazing. My brother would watch that like crazy. But I'd say even in more depth, is, I guess if I had to pick like a super specific one, is just the Wampa scene. Like, that scene was like super cool and scary because I was little, and just like I loved it. I'm like, it's like a monster, and like I don't know, just everything about it has like a certain vibe to me that I just like remember it as like a really positive viewing experience. And like he's upside down, he's trying to use the Force, and like, you know, and even the backstory, because like I love animals, and yeah, like I love animals. And if you don't know, or if anyone listening hasn't heard, but like Mark Hamill was told that in that scene he'll like singe its fur and it'll like run away. Yeah. And then in the cut, he chopped off his arm. So he was like, I hate you guys. You guys are horrible. Like I don't think I want to do Star Wars anymore because you're like hurting animals. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, that was cool. You know, I think it's cool that he chopped his arm off at the same time. But yeah, that scene was just like, you know, what they're wearing, and like, you know, all white, and like he puts him in the tauntaun and everything. All that was freaking sick. The speeders, like,
not to mention the Battlefront maps that they did for those.
Yes,
like
that
snow maps, like
so look good,
gorgeous, dude.
Yeah, and like you'd get Palpatine or Vader, and like you pretty much would like fly, jump around the whole entire map, like, and just jacking everybody up.
Have you seen the Adult Swim skit of like Luke like pausing his, like they're like stopping off at a gas station or something like that, and the Wampa pulls up next to him with the arm, and he's like looking
at trying to get like, the gas. Yeah, and
he's like, come on. Dude, the Robot Chicken has some funny stuff, man. If you guys haven't seen that, go YouTube Robot Chicken Star Wars stuff. There's a whole bunch of Emperor ones too that are like super funny.
Oh yeah. The escalator one.
Oh, yeah, he's like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, dude. Someone recreated that at Star Wars Celebration, and like my friend recorded it and got like it was. I think it's at like a million plus views or something.
Well deserved.
But it was so funny, dude. It was so funny.
Nice.
And then for Jedi, I'd have to put not Jedi, but Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Definitely Luke overall as a character, like him becoming like, I guess, Jedi Master. Like I wouldn't really say he is, even if they label as that, but becoming like a Jedi. Like,
I think the
Jedi.
end battle was his final trial. I think he solidified his masterhood after he basically like turned the dark side away. Like as soon as he's like, "You failed, Your Highness," and he chunks his lightsaber like knight or masterhood right there.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, I guess ending, yes. Most of the movie he's not. At the end, I would say he is. But
even then he comes back. Like he's like, when you see Luke in Empire versus Jedi, like he's like a completely different character. He's like way more calm, composed, confident. So like I definitely see what you're saying with that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the whole barge scene is amazing. Only thing I had to say is like one thing that I really dislike about that movie, not genuine dislike, but just like I wish they did something better, is like Boba just dying in like the dumbest way, and I'm like, I get the cringe watching him. Like, dang it! You know, you barely
iconic for Star Wars, man. Make the coolest characters and then kill them instantly. You know.
Yeah. But then obviously you got Endor and like the end scene. You know, where he sees the Force Ghost and just everything that has to do with Luke is like freaking amazing. And I love his lightsaber. Obviously, freaking crazy. That's definitely one of the ones like we were talking about. I want to get like a good one with like the flashing lights on the side and like
I feel that because I definitely have it in the works that I want to do. The one, his outfit, because he has a couple like different outfits from Return of the Jedi, but like the one at the very end where he has like with the white patch.
Part,
I want to do that one so bad. Like that's like one of my number ones that I want to do.
Yeah, that's freaking. That's like
that the
Luke.
I can't cut my hair, man. It's gonna be long hair.
I don't know if you really tell with the background, but I just cut mine today for Solo.
Oh, I didn't see that, but like when you're moving, I could definitely tell you.
Yeah, it was like it was getting long anyways. I need to cut it, and then.
Well, it gets crazy because like I used to, my hair like used to be like down to like here, like it used to be like super long, and then I cut it to here.
Mine got really long too, but it was just like
it's hard to manage. Yeah,
I feel you. I can't do it anymore. And yours looks good though, because like mine like is like straight, like it just like falls down, like it kind of curls and stuff. Like I got it layered, so it's gonna be a little poofier like Han's, but yours stays up, which is nice. It's just like
it's a blessing and a curse because sometimes it's like it either looks really nice or I look like Doc from Back to the Future, whereas it's just like
crazy.
Yeah, it's like when if there's any humidity in the air, my hair just like it's like you know, like I look crazy.
Goes crazy. Yeah, I know. I'm always like, Mom, I'll tell my girlfriend like, are you bringing your brush to Disneyland, like just in case I need it, because like you know, because she has like crazy poofy curly hair, so
that's definitely a brush.
You need your brush for sure. Make sure you bring it.
I have like a little one that's like this big, and I stick it in my backpack everywhere I go, just in case I need it, because it gets crazy sometimes.
It really does, dude. Those roller coasters jack you up.
Yeah, for sure.
So Luke, and so then to go to Force Awakens, kind of like I've said before, is Kylo's entrance, just like crazy, dude. The way he sounds, the way he looks.
Dude, his ship too. He has the coolest fucking ships, dude. Like the one that he comes down with, and then I believe it's in Last Jedi, the one where he's like destroying Leia's ship, like the red and I'm a sucker for red and black. So like his
silencer, I think.
Yeah, it's like those two.
It's a faux silencer.
Which is the one in Galaxy's? Because there's one in Galaxy's Edge, right? Or is that a different one?
With like the big one.
Right when you enter, is that just a First Order ship or is that Kylo?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I guess I don't know, but it's like I know it's supposed to be like technically Kylo's, because when I was just there the last time, me and my friend were talking about it, and we're like, And I'm like, that's not like his ship. Like the wings aren't nearly big enough.
Like long
the
enough.
turrets are like a little bit different. And I remember I looked at like a picture and we were doing a side by side. And it's like I think it is like it's supposed to be, but like they couldn't make it ginormous and like
it's massive.
They could have at least made it black though.
Yeah,
like,
fair enough.
That's why I was the biggest fan. I'm like, I don't think it is. I think it's supposed to be like a transport ship, and his is like the better, you know, like how they have Star Destroyers, but then there's like Darth Vader's is bigger, and then Kylo's is like better too. So maybe Kylo's is just like a better version of that type of ship.
I got you.
Which is what I would think.
Also, real quick tangent, because I know we're talking about like your favorite things, but I was curious because I didn't see any when I went to Galaxy's Edge. Do they have like a schedule for like their like monologues that they do? Because
yes.
I didn't see any of those when I went.
They do, which I guess now that you say that, like I'm pretty positive they used to like a while ago. They used to have like posted stuff. Like a little thing, you know, with like a paper in it or whatever saying something about it. But yeah, they definitely have show times. Okay. I think they're kind of at the point where they're like, oh, well, people kind of like, they can figure it out for themselves. It's like every 2 hours or every 4 hours or whatever. But yeah, they definitely have their set times. I think you just go onto the Disney app and then like you can look it up. I'm pretty positive that's how you can do it.
Okay, yeah, because like that was like
they're cool.
I didn't get any of the monologues, and I didn't see Rey or Chewie. I saw everybody else, but I didn't get to see Rey or Chewie.
Dude, yeah, I was really hyped because this friend of mine like is kind of in the social media world and stuff, so she knows a lot of people, and you know, she dressed up like I dressed up like more of a civilian, and then she dressed up as like Darth Rey and Rey, so I could take pictures of her. And yeah, so like, you know, the stormtroopers and Kylo are like all talking to her, you know, because it looks cool. The fans like watching, but we got to interact with them so much. Like, even if you have a nice camera, like I think people kind of like will kind of like, oh, they have a nice camera, they want nice pictures, so I'll give them nice pictures. So like a stormtrooper was like walked up to us, and then he was like posing, like he's doing like funny poses, which I like never really saw. And like, that's hilarious. And then after, she's like, oh, do you want to see? You know, because she's just really like, she's like jumpy like all the time and stuff, and just like really fun. So she's like, oh, you want to see? And he's like, affirmative. And he's like looking at the camera, and she's showing him the picture. And he's like, I like, good job or something. And then leaves. And then Rey, she knows the actress that plays Rey, and so we got to talk to her, and I was like showing Rey, like I'm like, oh, I'm this guy, and she's like, oh, no, you know. And yeah, dude, all that, it's super fun. Like I have a hard time getting out of my shell and like talking to people like kind of as like characters. Yeah. But yeah, definitely like it's once you do it, you're like, okay, that was really fun. Like you get to really nerd out, and you're like, oh shoot, like I like this. I forgot I like this. I was just nervous. But yeah, so the intro scene, but then I was gonna say also one of like there's in the Force Awakens and Last Jedi, there's two things like this, but it's ones, again, like I said, I like realism, and so like really little things can do that. You know, you just kind of gotta like either pay attention or notice, or like, you know, most of the time if you're like a really big Star Wars fan, you just like look a little more in depth. This one isn't crazy, but definitely a big part that I liked was when him and when Finn and Poe take the TIE fighter, like right when they launch. Poe, they launch and they freaking shoot out, and he's like, man, this thing can move. Like that, just that line, the way he moved, I'm like, it made me think back all the times like TIE fighters like are jacking people up, or the way they sound, like the stormtroopers are flying this like dope freaking like thing, and just
like
made the
super car,
and like the TIE, and now I'm like the TIE fighter is like this freaking Lambo of like ships, like this government corporation made ship. So yeah, that just him saying that, and every time I hear it, I'm like get chills. I'm like, oh, it's like so cool. Like you can picture yourself getting in one and just being like, oh my gosh, like I'm going so fast.
Oh yeah.
And then so into the Last Jedi, it definitely have to be like the whole scene entirely, but the main part would be when Snoke like literally gets cut in half.
Yeah, because dude,
that was like, oh my dude, the excitement like level, like everything, my whole body, I was like wanted to move in my seat. I was like, this is like crazy, dude. And like he's sitting there, and then the music, and he'll use his fingers, and and she freaking catches it, and it's like the base is like, and she catches it. I'm like, oh my god, like this dude got jacked up, and we didn't see too many people get jacked up in a long time, you know, like I guess that. And so like this dude got cut in half, and yeah, that was just like insane. And then again, to kind of what I was saying about the realism, and this one is more with the realism that just like gives me chills every time, is when in the very beginning when Poe's taking out all the surface cannons, he just swings around and he goes right in front of the bridge, and it shows the inside shot and like the windows shake. Mm-hmm. That right there, I was just like, that's so cool. Yeah, like freaking jets, and just like, and I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just like that. That's what it'd be like. And I'm like, you know, I listen on my surround sound. I'm like, oh no, where's Poe? He's gonna jack us up. Yeah, so that's definitely dope.
One thing I wanted to ask you about, because that was the biggest problem that I had, because like I'm such a big Luke fan, right? Like Luke in The Last Jedi was very divisive. Like whether you loved him or you hated him, I'm always interested to see kind of like what people's thinking. And you had mentioned that you actually enjoyed that arc of Luke.
Yeah.
What kind of made you like really accept, because like I feel like it's either the opposite, like you either love it or you hate it, you know? Mm-hmm. Like Ed, I really like the concept behind that. Like what made you be like, okay, I'm okay with this Luke? Like what made you like, were there any scenes or anything in particular that were like, oh, I actually can really see this?
I mean, I guess it'd be overall, like, I don't know, I guess specific scenes, because obviously he has like like people that I guess have like uncles that have failed their nephews, like they can probably connect to it best. Like it is a real life thing they can connect to, versus, you know, like, you know, other stuff that happens. Like, oh my gosh, your dad's actually a Sith Lord. Like you can kind of relate to it. But for me, like I feel like my purpose mainly in life is like to be helpful and to like give and really do that stuff. Like of course I treat myself to the things I love and everything, but like I really am a really giving person. Like I'm like, I'd much rather buy someone else a helmet than buy myself a helmet. A lot of people I am friends with and stuff, I bought stuff or whatever, but they don't really do that stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it for myself. But growing up, you know, I'm just like, I was always like that. I think I get it from my mom. She has her master's in psychology, I guess, technically, because she's like cool. She was a counselor and a teacher. So she would always have like the books lying around of that stuff and talk to us about it and like really get in depth of how the brain works. And so I'm like, I want to like use that to an advantage. And so I was kind of like the therapist of the friend group always, and like people in class, like I'd sit next to, I don't really know, like I'd pretty much become friends with them because they'd be like, my boyfriend did this or my friend did this, and like I'd like give them advice, and you know, people would it help people, and I'm like, I think that I'm kind of good at this. I should probably keep doing it. And so what, you know, when I saw that Luke, you know, literally was like, hey Han, you're my best friend and I'm gonna like take your kid, and then fails, and like his kid kills Han, is like literally kills his best friend, is trying to kill everyone, is destroying the whole galaxy, literally turned out like Vader, which like it's like he saved and he stopped the Empire, and now there's something new. It's like I've been in the shoes where I'm like, I've succeeded and I've like helped people, but there's people I've completely failed or that I've done like wrong to in that way, where I'm like, I didn't help them enough. And being in those shoes, it's very easy to connect with Luke, where I'm like, nowadays there's things that like they're done with, they're over with. Like the person that I could have helped or could have done or been there for better, like, you know, even if I guess I'm getting really deep, like my first like real relationship was 4 years long, and it, you know, ended and we grew up, and like there's a bunch of other stuff, but like I look back and I'm like, there's so many things I could have done better. You know, I wasn't going to, I was younger, but yeah, like once you have an experience like that, you realize Luke isn't in the wrong for that, at least in my opinion, because I'm like, I understand what that's like, where like you can't do anything about it. Like you failed, you have to take the blame for that. You're supposed to be the reason why everything is going to be better, but instead you're the reason everything is horrible, and like you can't really change that. And so I connected in that way, and I'm like, I feel that. and I think he's perfectly right to be mad. You know, I think it's okay if people get angry at stuff. Like, you know, don't always go to anger, but anger is valid in different situations. And yeah, I think for him, he's just come to the terms with, like, he pretty much crippled and destroyed the entire galaxy. Like, from his perspective, he's like, yeah, I don't even know what's going on out there, but everyone's dying. You know, like millions of people are dying, and it's on him. So it's easy to say, like, oh, I don't like his character, but it's like, but what character is he? And I think that's the character that he should be. So that's why I like it.
See, that's why I always like talking to people who like really enjoy the sequels, and then also too just people who have different perspective, because like for me personally, like I wasn't a huge fan of like how they portrayed his character. Like that wasn't how I saw Luke, or you know, stuff like that. But I always like the other, like I always try to play like devil's advocate. Like that's usually like how I am, like with most situations. Like I can kind of see both sides of things. So I always like to see people who like yourself, who can like really, like, you don't just be like, oh, Luke is bad, or oh, Luke is good. Like you gave a full in-depth explanation to like why you thought that. And I really like that. Like that's so cool that you can actually like really explain like, well, this is why I think Luke is like this, because you know this and this, and then you go like, from my own experiences I can see it from that, you know. Like I really think we need more of that in Star Wars, and just like in general as people. And
it's so great that Star Wars, you can do that, where it's like we disagree on our opinions with Luke technically, but there's also many things that we agree on, and then at the end of the day it's like, it's still Star Wars, so we both like it. So it's like, let's just like talk about it, and like that's it. Like that's the fun part. Like we always say, we're like, we just like want to talk about Star Wars.
Buddy,
it's dope. Like Star Wars is like our entire lives, kind of.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, I didn't mean to take us on like a whole rabbit hole, but since you had said that, I always, you know, because Luke is so important to me, I always ask that, like, if anybody has that other opinion, I really want to like kind of get to know. It's just too, because it also broadens your perspective and like opens different doors that you didn't see yourself, because maybe you like, for instance, for me, like maybe I haven't gone through some of the stuff that you've gone through, or something like that where you can see something that I don't see, you know. So it's cool. Definitely
worries me, where I'm like, dang, like life has its hard times in like 20 years when we watch these. Are like, they're gonna be tolerable, because we're gonna be like, no, I remember when this happened and that reminds me of that, and we're like, for sure. And then so I guess so the last one then would be this one, like, I don't know, so Rise of Skywalker is like everything, I feel like everything about it's really like solid. Like everything's pretty good. Like people have it has its issues. Yeah, maybe I would have enjoyed better lightsaber duels, or maybe a little bit not as rushed story, etc. But like everything's pretty solid, pretty streamlined. I think that it's very like mid to high, like in between that all the time, rather than like the lows are lows and the highs are highs, etc. But besides the ending, I think the ending is like technically the best part of the movie.
Dude, the Star Destroyers with Death Star cannons and the lightning and all that stuff.
And if you don't like it now, just go on Star Tours and get that one, and then you'll like it, because that's like super fun on Star Tours. But I'd tell you, probably my favorite part would be the like Force fight they have, where she's in his chambers and then he's down on whatever planet that is. And
what is it? Is it? No, it's not Jabeam. It's,
I wanted to say Pisana, but it's not Pisana. Is it Jabeam? I feel like it is.
It's one of those. Dude, it's been so long since I've watched the last Rise of Skywalker.
The new, like the old planets, like I feel like their names and stuff and like places are like easier, and nowadays they're like really complicated and I don't remember any. Like,
one thing I thought was cool about that planet is because I grew up with the Revenge of the Sith video game, and they added the sound, like, so like the intro, like if you just like let the intro play in the game, it has like a certain like soundtrack, and they put that in the movie when he's like talking about like, oh, we called people at Crate, when he's talking to what's the chick, the gold helmet chick's name? It starts with a Z. I just can't think of her name.
Bliss, Zara Bliss, Ori Bliss.
I want to say Zori sounds right, but like when he's talking to her about like them like contacting Crate, like that soundtrack is playing in the background, and I was like, yo, that's cool. Yeah, from like it's like a little like do 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 do, and it's from the Revenge of the Sith video game.
It's Zori Bliss.
Yeah. Zori Bliss. Okay. Zori Bliss. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know. I never played that one. Unfortunately,
dude,
I played. I played. Good. My main ones were. I don't even remember what it was called, but like this game was hella fun. It was just vehicles, and it literally like I don't even think it was spaceships. It was like all land vehicles. But like, you never played as a human. The only time you played technically as a human was Anakin and Obi-Wan on droid speeders going through the forest. But like everything was vehicles. That was dope. You got to play as like just the craziest vehicles. I'll try to find it and figure out what it is. But that one, obviously the Battlefronts, and then my favorite, which I'm like hoping they still remaster for Xbox because I think they're supposed to, is Commandos. That Dude, was like
we just need a new like it's such a great game. Like literally the only thing that's bad about it is the graphics, and it's because it came out on the original Xbox, right?
Yeah.
Like make another Commandos game.
And I gotta say, and maybe I don't know if you've made this connection or whatnot, but you were talking about how you love Emil from Halo. Mm-hmm. And I think it's Scorch is the one with like the red hand.
Yeah,
like that was the original Emil.
For sure.
Those are like the same dude in a different universe. And I'm like, yeah. So
and we don't know what happened to Scorch because in the game he gets trapped on not Camino, Kashyyyk. So
yeah, because you don't see him die because they do like that whole I forget exactly what happened, but he was like fighting and then he like runs off or something.
Yeah, he like falls off the edge or something like that.
Yeah,
but like, I don't because he is in Clone Wars when they're bringing when Savage is introduced, when he goes and like kills those two Jedi, like when he's first introduced, they're the ones that bring those Jedi back to Camino. And he's there, but I don't know if that's before or after
Probably
Republic
before.
Commando.
I feel like it. Well, Battle Geno.
Because it's like, because Kashyyyk is like, that's like right after, because they mention it. It's like pretty close after Geonosis, but I don't know where in the timeline Savage and like Darth Maul are in the Clone Wars either, though. Yeah. So he could be alive, he could not be, who knows? But he was definitely one of the coolest.
Yeah, we'll play as him in the new one, hopefully.
Dude, please, dude, have him have like be like a survivor or something like that. Have him have like, I don't know, like I think they were fighting like Trandoshans or something like that. Give him like some Trandoshan claws around his neck or something like that. Like he's been like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator or something like that. He's been like hunting in the woods.
I want to use that knife again.
Yeah,
the little one that comes out. Yeah, and like the screen has to wipe.
The Assassin's Creed blade before Assassin's Creed.
Exactly, dude. That thing was sick.
Oh yeah.
But then I guess to end the 10 things, which I feel like I've gone on too long with it. But
no, dude, it's great. It's great. I love these little rabbit holes. That's the one thing about these podcasts that I don't get with us doing these roundtables is the one-on-one aspect allows us to go into these crazy rabbit holes. I just, it's really cool.
You figure out so much more. You're like, I think I know everything about this. Nope, no, you don't. Like there's more perspective, more to learn.
Oh yeah.
The Force fight where they're on there, I think a big reason is because I'm like a huge advocate, and anyone who doesn't do this, try it out. Go watch trailers. I guess if you have surround sound, use that. But I still feel like unless you have a good subwoofer and like you're right next to it, like I put mine under the couch for that reason, so the couch like vibrates. But
cool.
I'm a huge advocate of like watch stuff and listen to it like while it's Bluetoothed into your car. Because I've watched the trailer because there was like technically two, but like the Rise of Skywalker trailer, I watched so many times, dude, in the car. Like I would literally get in the car after work and be like, I'm gonna play it, and I wouldn't even like watch it. Like I'd just listen to it while I drive, and then I'd rewind, do it like 10 times, and then I'd turn on my Star Wars podcast, my Star Wars stuff podcast, and then I'd do that. Like it was just super amazing. I think because it's in the car and you have all the sound. And in there, point being is like that they have, the music like cues up right there, perfect timing. Obviously the trailers they make are insane, where they're hitting Vader's like where the thing that Vader's helmet's on.
Yeah, the
and it shatters, and like Kylo like puts his hand up, like, oh gosh, like, and then obviously you see that in that scene on like the snow, and they're fighting, and kind of something about Kylo in that scene looks also just like different. Like he has his helmet, he has his voice changer, he's talking with it, he's fighting with it, but he just looks so like freaking like beefy, just like tanky. Like I think it's the first time you see and you're like, yeah, Kylo could definitely pummel like Rey right now. He's just choosing not to. Because I think, I don't know if that's the first time you see him with that new helmet, but I think it is.
Dude, that new helmet, that's what I was gonna bring that up. Like, dude, that is my I don't know how I'm gonna get it to like glow like that. Maybe put like LEDs on the end, but like I want to make that helmet so bad.
I don't doubt you can buy the files, because I know the guy that sells it. Or I don't know him, but I know of the guy that sells like the one that lights up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes everything so it's like clear pieces that you put in it, and then you put the LEDs and stuff.
Yeah, dude, because like red and black are like my favorite colors. Like I just
same thing.
Big shocker. I like Darth Maul. He's red.
I wonder.
But man, that when the monkey guy is like, the monkey guy looks cool while he's preparing the helmet and stuff. Like, oh, dude, they nailed that helmet. Like when they put it back together, it looks so cool.
Yeah, I know. I really want the Anovos one. I bought it for someone, or I bought it for my girlfriend. Cool, so she has it, but it's obviously across the country. And I'm like,
right, yeah.
See it, like, it's super cool. But hopefully, I'll get the other Kylo Ren like outfits, provable stuff. But yeah, and then with that is just like the scene where, I guess I don't remember even. I think it's right after they build the helmet. They're like flying towards you just see Kylo in his, I think it's a silencer, and the Knights of Ren, and they're like crazy freaking steampunk looking ship, it's all junky. And then just with them walking, did you see their feet and like the muddy footprints? I was just like, dude, that's so badass. And walking down the hall, and the stormtroopers all like ghouls, and I'm just like, dudes are dope. Like,
dude, I was so sad that they weren't force sensitive though. Like I thought, like when he comes back as like Ben, and like they're like fighting him, I was really thinking they were all gonna pull out sabers and just clash with him.
I'm definitely like, why did they not add them more? Why didn't they make them more of like a threat or something?
Because they look cool. Like they nailed the look. They looked cool as hell. It's just like, I'm like, oh man, there was such a missed opportunity that you could have had. Like even like if like he like got overpowered, like Rey and him fighting off that, in front of Palpatine, like that would have been so cool, dude.
Yeah, I didn't even want to think about it because I'm upset. But yeah, and then pretty much like the scene where, and I forget, there's definitely something that happens. I was just telling someone about it where I was like, oh, it's kind of like does the same thing, but it's when Vader like kills someone. Was saying, oh yeah, like I think it was at work. I don't remember. I talk about Star Wars so many people, I don't even remember who was with half the time. But when Vader kills like the officer or the main guy, he's like in that room, and he chokes him or whatever. I guess I don't remember if he dies. I'm pretty sure he dies. But then in this
it's probably Vader, so he probably dies.
Yeah, he probably dies. And Kylo, I think it's the same thing. He brings in the head, sets it on the table, and then he's like talking to him. All his stuff, and he's like, saying stuff, and the guy's like, how do you even know they're gonna whatever? Like he's like being like annoying, and Kylo just freaking flings him up to the roof, and he's like dying, and then he like sits there, and he's like, any other stuff you want to say? I'm like, dude, that was badass. That was pretty sick. Dude. Yeah, just like no hands. I love when they don't use any gestures, because you're like, oh, he got like pretty strong now, because based off what I know, like most of the time you have to use hand gestures. Like that's why so many people do it. Like even Vader has to, because like you have to focus,
like reach out
on the organs, which is I guess like you have to learn each one, like it's like a new technique, because you can like crush people's anything. And then lastly, which this is a big deal for me, because this was, I guess I'm going to sound like no, for sure. So the first time I've ever like genuinely cried at Star Wars was in the Rise of Skywalker, and I said a way long time ago when I was doing a different one that'll come back to this, is, you know, I was good, and I knew it was the end. It's like after everything pretty much ends, I'll get back together and stuff. And I'm already like sad. I'm like, I know this is like over now. Like, this is like not the last time I'll be watching Star Wars, but like this is the last of everything. Mm-hmm. And then they give Chewie his medal, dude.
Oh, dude!
And
yeah.
I started like not sobbing necessarily, but I'm like sitting there, and I put my head over on my girlfriend's shoulder, and I'm just like, tears like start coming. I'm just sad, and then I just stayed like that until the titles, and she just sat there, kind of like, you know, you're good. And I'm just like I'm happy, but I'm also just like, I don't know what to feel. But like, Chewie got it. Like, I didn't think it hit that hard, but it like took me back to that scene of when he didn't get it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's full circle, and like, yeah, that really like summed it up for me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, dude.
Heck yeah, dude.
And it's also, he's the last one left. Like, that's so sad.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, bro, like literally, it's like
you have
him and
3PO and R2.
Yeah, I was gonna say him and R2. Yeah, you beat me too. I was like him and R2, and that's it. Or I guess Lando. Got Lando still, but he's not like a core. Lando's not the core, one of the core.
Yeah,
members,
not really.
But still.
Yeah, R2, 3PO, and him. That's it.
Yeah, dude. I'm so. That's the one thing I am sad about. Is like we never got to see all of them together. Like, I wish that, I know it probably would be tough, but like they at least see like one shot of all like the original trilogy characters together. I was like, oh man. I was like, as soon as Han died in the first one, which I think he should have died. Like, I think that was a good, like,
I think so too. Yeah.
To like further develop Kylo's character, Han needed to die. I think that was a good character development and stepping stone for Kylo. And I was just like, oh, when as soon as he died, I was like, dang, no reuniting.
No,
with the crew.
Yeah, only thing is, like, it's gonna sound weird because it's like I want to see it because it's pretty detrimental to Star Wars. Like, I'd hate to not see it, but it also, I really don't want to see it. But like, what's gonna happen with Chewie type thing? Where I'm like, I don't want to see him die. Obviously, I'd be like really sad. Like, I feel like that's definitely something they don't even want to put in a film. But I'm also like, you know, Chewie didn't really get an ending. You know, he got a good one in the sense of he got the medal, which I'm happy about. But sometimes think about that, and I'm like, is he going to be, you know, the Lando show? It's Donald Glover, so it's not old Lando.
I think it's both, though. From what I've heard, I mean, I think it's still like in development, and they're
because I'm hyped about that. I like him as Lando.
Oh yeah, it would be good. What I thought would be cool is like if Billy D. Williams is kind of like, you know how like in Solo he's doing the Calrissian Chronicles or whatever. Yeah. Like, what if the show is like that, where Billy D. Williams is kind of like reminiscing on like something that happens, and then it kind of like fades back into like him actually doing like the episode or whatever as Donald Glover. Like, that would be sick.
That would be super cool. And also, I want to see what was his name? Alden.
Alden Ehrenreich, I think is his name.
I would like to see him again too, because I'm like, he got his one.
I just don't think we're going to, man.
I don't either. But like,
they came out and said something like, I think they said that they thought the reason why Solo bombed was because they didn't deep fake and they used like other actors and stuff like that. And I was like, I just think we've never had. I think it's marketing, and also too, we've never had that close to Star Wars. Like, literally, Last Jedi came out in December, and Solo came out in like, I think like May or March or something like that. Like,
it was also it was right next to something big, which I think was like Black Panther or like Marvel, like a big Marvel movie.
Yeah.
It was next to that, and then on top of that, people were like, there was like, did you see any ads? And I'm like, I saw like,
I don't remember seeing anything.
I'm like, I didn't see a video ad. I know I saw a advertisement, like a poster or something, and then there was like pretty much no advertisement. There was like nothing like that. There was no toys released. Like, Star Wars always does that stuff beforehand. For sure. So I think that's why it did bad. I think it's also just like, and as much as it stinks to say, because I love it, but like the Star Wars fan base is freaking crazy.
Yeah, well, this was like, love or hate The Last Jedi. Like, it's a divisive movie, and I think it was just, there was so much, like, it was enough time to where there was enough heat on it that people were just like, I remember people saying like, oh, I'm not going to go see Solo because I'm boycotting The Last Jedi. I'm like, go see freaking Solo, dude.
Yeah, it's like a different thing.
It's like a whole it's like a whole different thing. Like, it's okay if you don't like The Last Jedi, but don't go literally boycotting made it to where they were gonna do more movies for Solo. I think it was gonna be like a trilogy or something. And boycotting it made it to where they're not doing anything with Solo anymore.
Yeah.
And
it's like, funny to me because I'm like, you realized in like another 5 years you'll like all these movies, because that's every time people don't like Star Wars, you end up liking it when the new stuff comes out, just like Call of Duty. So it's like that's gonna happen. Like, you know, Kylo spiked and Rey spiked and all that stuff, and then now everyone's like, oh well, we don't really like that, but new stuff's gonna come out, and then it's already, I feel like
everybody's gonna crap on the new stuff.
A lot of people are like, okay, it wasn't that bad. Like, a lot of people are realizing that already. I'm like, yeah, it wasn't. Like, it was good Star Wars. Like, it was different. But every single one is like, and I would say too, right, the sequels are closer to the originals than the prequels. So if you want to say like one's more different, then like, why don't you hate on the prequels type thing? But for me, I'm like, again, I like all of them. I like that they're different but still the same.
No, that's awesome too, man, because it's just like, I love there's things I like about the sequels, but like as far as like as a whole, like I wasn't a huge fan of them, but I love talking to people who are, because like we said with the Luke thing, it's like a whole different perspective. Like, you see more out of it, you go back and analyze it more because you deeply care about it, right? Like you love Kylo, so you go and analyze all the stuff, so you'll see stuff that I'll never see, and then I get to hear it from you, and I'm like, maybe I will go back and rewatch a movie, you know, or something. Like, you hear something, you're like, all right, maybe I will go check that out. You know, that's what I like. Yeah, no,
it's fun for sure, and you can learn so much. And I think the knack that I have, not like really a knack, I guess, it's not something I choose to do, but I definitely see stuff like separate from each other, which I like and dislike about Star Wars. Like, I see everything as a whole. Obviously, it's like one timeline. But definitely, like, when I think about Kylo, it's like Force Awakens Kylo. That's Kylo to me. Like, I'm like, it's not necessarily Rise of Skywalker. It's not necessarily Last Jedi. Like, he's that character from that movie. And and so I think for me, I'm kind of like, when I think about, who's Kylo, I'm like picking the pieces that I like the most. And so it makes it a little easier. Like, because some people just pick the bad parts and they're like, that's all he was. And I'm like, dude, like, he's pretty sick. Like, if you know.
That's the great thing. Then that's why I do this. Like, hey, what do you like from each movie? Because I think it's real easy to, like, I used to do it to where, like, rank all the Star Wars movies, right? Like, you would rank like your favorite to your least favorite. And I was like, that can kind of, like, I had some people that are like, hey, I don't really feel comfortable doing this. Like, I have a list, but like a lot of people get like really crapped on for giving a list and stuff like that. And some people, like, it was just, so I was like, you know what? A better spinoff would be, because I think you can, regardless of whether you like what you don't like, some people don't like the prequel, some people don't like the sequel, some people don't like the original trilogy, you know? But I think there's something that you can pick from each movie where you can go, okay, that was pretty sick. That was pretty dope, you know? Like, for me, like, I really like The Last Jedi wasn't my favorite, but I really like when Rey is like on the stone with Luke.
Oh yeah.
And she's like they show the Force, like, and like how she's like feeling like the life and the death and decay. Like, I was like, man, that is such a cool depiction of the Force, and like you actually get to see it like visually. Like, that was so freaking cool.
Yeah, no matter the storyline, there was still like Last Jedi was a visual masterpiece for sure.
Oh, for sure. That's
even like bringing Yoda back, like, that was freaking dope. But I think a lot of people forget about that. But I'm like, it's like, it's the puppet. Like, that's the first thing I thought when I saw it. I was like, that's like the freaking puppet version. They're not CGIing it.
Oh yeah. I mean, love or hate the sequels, I don't think you can argue that, like, cinematically and definitely like CGI and stuff like that, it's the best out of all of the movies. Like, any, like, or prequels, original trilogy, like, as far as like the cinematic and the CGI goes, like, I mean, obviously because it's like the newest stuff, so it has like newer technology, but they're just like, some of the shots that you see in some of the sequel stuff, you're just like, wow. Like, you're just like, that's breathtaking, you know, like, that's awesome. Yeah. Like the Holdo maneuver, man, when it's like, and then it's like silent, but you just get to see like the landscape of like what happened. You're just like, whoa, like, holy and just like crap.
Crate. If you play Battlefront, the new Battlefront 2, like playing on Crate, dude, is so fun. You're like blowing stuff up and the red stuff's going everywhere.
Oh yeah.
As the TIE fighters.
Yeah, it's very sick. Well, to close this out, I usually do this segment called Mynock Minutes, where I ask you like these really like basic questions, like what's your favorite this or what's your favorite that, to kind of close it out and encapsulate everything. So we're gonna start off with, if you were in Star Wars, what faction would you fight for? Would you be a Jedi? Would you be a Sith, Mandalorian, Smuggler? Who would you pick?
Man, it's like every Star Wars fan's thought about this for ages, and they still like, don't have an answer.
It's tough, dude. It's tough.
I guess the easy answer, because obviously I want to do both, but I think the easy answer that I would want to do would be like pretty much like Kylo Ren-esque, you know, not necessarily like Sith back, like First Order Sith, in the sense of like you're kind of the only one. Like you're like the bad guy in the universe. And I'm like, okay, I'd want to do that. Like I'll take over and like I'll be, or I guess Darth Vader and Palpatine were pretty much the same thing. But yeah.
You'd be like the like Old Republic, there was like acolytes and stuff like that. There was like a lot of Sith and so like, so kind of something kind of like that is what you're trying to say? Or
the opposite actually. So like being like, I'd want to be like the only one. I'd be like, I'm the Sith. Like I'm the Sith of the galaxy.
The OG. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm the only one, and there can be other Jedi out there, but like I'm the bad guy.
Okay.
And so like, you know, because like Vader, you know, you look at him and you're like, yeah, he's that dude that like has went around and killed everybody. Like he's freaking crazy. I'd be like, yeah, I want to be like the popular one. I don't want to be like surrounded by all these other Sith.
I got you. So if you had to pick one person to train you, to have a master, who would you want to train you?
And this, I'm assuming, could be Sith, or
it can be anybody.
Anybody.
Canon, not Legends, like whoever you want to train you.
Honestly, if he genuinely trained me, I'd probably go Palpatine, because like he just, that dude's like, he's a beast. You know, I mean, Rey pretty much can heal. Rey and Kylo can heal people just being the right blood type, like born into it. So like, if he could teach me that, and like actually teach it, not like he did to Anakin,
right.
He'd be pretty sick. And a close second would be Revan.
Oh, okay.
He was a good.
Had a little bit of both.
He was both, but he's also good. He was a good Jedi. Like he was like a lot like you know, how you're supposed to be. Oh
yeah, top tier. I think he was like known for, like, I don't know a whole bunch about Revan, but the stuff that I do know from like the video games and stuff like that is like he was kind of like the best of the best when it came to like being a Jedi and like leading it. Like they were like fighting all the Mandalorians and stuff like that. Like he was the guy. You know,
he was a beast. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if you had to construct your own lightsaber, what colors would it be, and what kind of style would it be? Whether it's like a double blade, single blade, like staff. Like we see so many lightsabers. What one would you want, and what colors would they be?
I don't know, because I gotta say I know my color, but I guess I don't necessarily know why, because like I guess it was like the first color I got, but it's like a color that's not super common, and it's not necessarily my favorite, but like it also is in a way, because like the typical colors are great. Like red is dope, blue and green is dope. Like green is really close, but I'd have to go with yellow for sure.
Okay.
Yellow is like the Sentinels and like, you know, Gray Jedi have yellow, so it's like, you know, I'm not really picking a side, but yellow's
also Rey. She is.
Yeah, Rey has yellow, and I'm like, I was super happy just to see a yellow lightsaber.
Dude, I'm like, why didn't you do that at the beginning of the movie? I was like, I want to see a yellow saber throughout the whole movie.
It would have been, dude.
I was convinced she was going to get a double-bladed yellow, or not a yellow lightsaber, just a double-bladed lightsaber. I was like, she has a staff. She fights with a staff. Like,
and that's what she was supposed to. Yeah.
Yeah, you see that in like the concept art and stuff like that. Yeah. And I'm just like,
the original of the book.
Why? I'm like, why? Like, I get it. Like Anakin's saber is sick. Don't get me wrong. Like it's cool. Leia's saber is super cool. Ben's old like saber when he was Jedi, super cool. But they're not double-bladed lightsabers, man. There's something about a double-bladed lightsaber that you're just like,
you just never see it. Like
Maul. That's it. Literally Maul. I think there might be. I think there's a double-bladed lightsaber in the background of Geonosis too. I think there's a guy.
Really?
I think there's a guy in the background who has one. I could be mistaken on that, but I want to say there. I'm like 70% sure.
Okay. Yeah, so definitely it'd be yellow. I picked that like a long time ago, so that's just always been like my color. So yellow, and then I think I'd probably just do a typical single blade.
Okay.
I guess technically you can measure it, but if we're going length, like I'd want a little shorter than normal. Like I know Vader's is bigger than normal, but not super small, but like decent size.
Somewhere between like, I guess like, because you know how Ahsoka has both those blades. She has the tiny one. It's just something in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm like, I definitely like when it comes to like video games or guns or like and stuff in real life. Like I like more of the compact, like kind of maneuverable. Like I'm obviously like kind of smaller, like faster type person. So I like things that I can do that. So I definitely want to be like that kind of Ahsoka style character. I'm jumping around like crazy and being quick. And
very cool. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't think I've had anybody who said yellow before. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure you're the 23rd podcast that I've done. And I think I was surprised because I picked purple for me. And I thought I was the only one in that category. I was like, nobody likes purple. And like literally after I do this podcast, like half the people in the podcast are like, I want a purple lightsaber. And like on one side, I'm like, let's go. And then on the other side, I'm like, dang, I'm not original at all, man.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yellow I think is so looked over even sometimes by me because I'm like, oh, that's like the color of like a flashlight or a candle. Like it's not like anything special.
Dude, when it's that golden, it's like that golden yellow or something like that. Yeah. Dude, it looks so cool. I remember
when I turn on my good like my NeoPixel sabers and I put it to like yellow but with like unstable. Dude, like it just looks so cool. And then I'm like, yeah, this is why I like yellow. Yeah,
yellow, I think it has to be like, I think it fluctuates. I think it's my third favorite. I like right now I have like purple. It goes between like green and red because I've been I wasn't a big fan of green until I got a lightsaber. And then I was like, all right, green's pretty sick.
It's like a green, like it's different green.
Yeah, but then yellow too. I remember playing The Force Unleashed, and like you go in the hangar, and like there's like an Imperial shuttle, and you hop on the shuttle and you go up, and then the first little like holocron that you get is a yellow saber, and I was like, that's so cool. Like I turned it on, and it looks so sick. So I feel that. If you had to bring one force power into real life, and like only you could use it, and you could bring it in, what force power would you want?
There's so many.
I know. It's tough.
Probably. Honestly, I guess it'd be kind of simple, but like, I guess I don't know what I'd use it for. So maybe it's a dumb one, but because it'd just be so dope, would be Force Lightning.
Heck yeah!
Because I'm thinking, I can choose like the one that Cal has, where like you can see memories, or like Force Healing is obviously like probably the best thing you can pick, but like it's not really fun. Like people would just be like you wouldn't really have the Force, But my Force Lightning, that'd be freaking dope.
Heck yeah, dude! You charge your phone instantly. Like, if you had an electric car, man, you'd be golden.
Unlimited power.
Unlimited. Yeah, heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah. So if this is a two-parter. What is your favorite planet in Star Wars, and what planet would you want to live on personally?
That is rough. I think. I think I know where I want to live, but I'm also like thinking like, I guess I'm gonna have to give two answers for where I want to live because they're so different. It's like I love both of them, but I've always been in between because I've lived both lifestyles.
You can have two vacation homes. There you go.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So pretty much, obviously, I think it's just Naboo. Without like
waterfalls and everything,
because like Coruscant's great too, and everyone's like Coruscant's like the best. I feel a lot of people are like they want to live there because it's like a big city, but I'm like Naboo is the same thing, but it's like nicer. Like it's like a big city in London versus a big city in like America. It's like they're different. They're both big, but like one has like a ton of architecture, and or on the flip side, because I grew up with like horses on a farm and stuff. would be Kashyyyk probably.
Okay.
Because Kashyyyk just has that like I don't know what I'd do without Wi-Fi or video games or like stuff like that. Like I love all that so much. So I've thought about it where I'm like, maybe I should go live off grid somewhere, like type of living, like very that lifestyle. And it's definitely intriguing. I don't think I'll do it ever, but it's intriguing. And
I feel that. Yeah.
Yeah. Kashyyyk is like the best place to do that. Like you're up in the
Very
trees,
cool.
you're high up. It's like
you also got a beach too.
Avatar side. Yeah. You got the beach. I don't know what's swimming in there, but you got the beach.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's very, I'm also Native American. So like, that's kind of that vibe, that they're giving out. I'm like, that's kind of like how my people lived anyways. Like, so I like that. And then my favorite planet, that's the hard man.
It's tough. There's so many.
Probably, I guess Yavin 4 doesn't count because it's a moon.
You can make Yavin if you want to. Yeah, it's close enough. It's like Pluto, man. It counts. If you wanted to count, it counts.
Yeah, no, I think I'll have to do. I guess probably just because it's so crazy is Felucia, because that's just like, I don't know. It's always been the one where like you never see enough of, and you're like, what's out there? Like, what's the animals? Like that slug thing. Like, why is that guy riding a slug? What is that? And it's super colorful. And also when you go back to like Battlefront 2 and the freaking whatever the crazy
yeah, it starts with an A. It's like a Acker or something like that. It's whatever the praying mantis. Yeah, praying mantis.
Yeah, those things. And I'm like what's on this whole planet? Like you don't really see anything, but it's like super colorful. Like again with Avatar, like it was like Avatar's planet with like all this like crazy stuff. So it just looks the coolest. I think that's just like
Felucia scares me. Yeah, dude. Because like
I wouldn't want to live there.
What I equate Felucia to, I don't know. Have you seen like the King Kong with Jack Black in it? It's like the
that one's that's like
so when they go to that island and they fall down that trench and like all those creatures, like that's what I imagine Felucia is. Like if you're just like going and walking through Felucia, like that's like that, and like that. I'm like that sounds scary as hell.
Yeah, those worm things that ate that dude. Yeah. Am I crazy, or is the guy that plays that dude freaking the guy that can't swim? I don't know why I can't think of his name.
Oh no, it's not Andy Serkis. No. It's not. They kind of have similar faces. For some reason
I remember it being him. Yeah, but
that would be cool.
Yeah, that was a good movie. But yeah, Felucia is definitely cool.
All right. Well, I have two final questions, and then we can wrap this bad boy up. We're sitting almost at about 2 hours, so this is a good podcast. Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this bad boy up. If Lucasfilm came to you and like, Michael, we need an idea for a project. It can be a video game, it can be a movie, it can be a novel, it can be whatever you want it to be, but you have to come up with the idea. What would you pitch them?
Damn, that's a big question.
Yeah, and it can be like anything. If you wanted something like Clone Wars related or something like that, like it doesn't have to be like an original idea. Like you can build off of things that already have made in Star Wars.
I would probably. I think I'd probably want to do like a completely new idea. And again, that sprouts like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of questions.
I guess, because there's like so much I'd have to figure out. But to give, I guess, a short answer, I'd want to explore. You know what? I guess this is what I'd do is I would make a movie similar, whether it's brother, sister, couple, some sort of dyad, because like you don't really see that much. I think it was
the dyad's so cool.
The High Republic, or not the High Republic, or the Old Republic. Like
it happens like every 100,000 years or something like that.
Do a dyad, but make the story very similar to I don't remember their names, but the Old Republic, the brothers. I think they're twins.
I know who you're talking about. I just
one wears
remember.
black and one wears white. Yeah, I don't remember what.
It's the new Old Republic game, the MMO. That's the one you're talking about, where they're like the father trains them. Yeah, I don't remember their names.
I don't remember his name, but yeah, he's freaking powerful. That guy's crazy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, so make something similar to that, where it's like you have this dyad. I guess I don't technically know how dyads are made. I think one's good and bad, but I think they can be like siblings or
I think it just happens.
So just have a dyad that is pretty much bonded since like birth, and then have them have like a 3-part series. So the first one is them all together, and then the second one they fall apart, and at the end, and as sad as it be, I'd want one of them to die in the third movie.
Ooh.
Because I have a brother and I freaking love him to pieces, and like we are freaking homies, you know. And when I watched that thing, and we had watched it together and everything, like and he kills his brother at the end, I'm like,
yeah,
dude, like that, it hurts. It hurts. And so I'm like, even from that little bit of like the 3-minute video of seeing that, I'm like, dude,
those trailers are awesome.
Like that into 3 movies, I'd want to die
and give it that action scenes like they have in the game,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have them be homies. Then they fall apart. One goes dark side, and then one dies.
Yeah, dude, that sounds sick. That sounds really freaking cool. So the last question I have for you is, out of everything that's been announced so far, what are you looking forward to the most that hasn't come out yet?
I'm gonna sound probably basic, but I probably Mandalorian.
Hey, nice. All right.
Yeah, because like there's a lot of ones coming out, but I love live action the most. Like I like animated stuff. I'm gonna like the anime stuff, but it just doesn't hit with me like super in depth. Like I think it feels like a disconnect. I'm kind of like watching something that's like Star Wars, or it's like a Star Wars spin-off. Clone Wars hit hard because when I was younger, I was able to connect with it more, and it's been around for a long time.
For sure.
But yeah, some of the newer stuff, I'm like, I like it, and I love watching it, but it's hard to really connect with. So Mando, it's like, it's been, I think I saw a post and it said like 3 years from today is when Mando came out. And
really?
I'm like,
it's been that long?
Years. Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Exactly. And I'm like, that's insane. And so, yeah, I'm definitely like, that's going to be good. Cause like we got Connection. We had 2 seasons worth of Connection now.
And you get to see all those Mandos in the trailer where they're bringing in like
the Mandalorians, dude. I have no clue what's happening with Grogu. I have no clue, but I really hope we get to see Luke.
Dude, yeah.
And
I hope he gets his own show, dude. I think we need they got the CGI and the deepfakes there. Like make the show. Make the show.
I want a show so bad, dude.
Yeah,
I'm like, I know I'm pretty positive it's not gonna happen, but
I mean, I don't know though, dude, because really you're gonna tell me you're gonna spend all that money and all that time into like bringing Luke back, not just once, but like multiple times, and then not good. Like there's a lot of people who love Luke, like a lot of people who like that show would just sell. Like just him, you do a spiritual side of it, and then do stuff with him like you did in the Mandalorian, the end of the finale. Have both those combos. Have him discovering the Force, and have him just messing shit up. And that's
it would be so good,
because that's what he's doing during that time. He's like discovering all the stuff because he's trying to build the Jedi Temple up. So he's trying to learn as much knowledge as he can to teach everybody. So like, show on that. Boom.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Like we know what we want. They just have to listen.
Heck yeah. Well,
and then I guess I will say too, just last thing is also, if it's anything like I think it will be, obviously Ahsoka. Like I'm super hyped for Ahsoka.
Dude, everything Dave does it's great. He might change a lot of stuff. He might rustle a lot of feathers because Dave wants to do what Dave wants to do, right? Like he doesn't care about the books. He doesn't care about if it fits his story, he's going to change it to fit his story. But you can't deny everything the man touches is gold, dude.
Yeah, and Ahsoka's like his baby, so he's gonna put everything into this.
Well, Anakin's gonna show up because Hayden's already confirmed, so we're gonna get Force Ghost Anakin or a flashback at least.
We're gonna have to finish our Clone Wars Anakin stuff.
Oh, dude, no, I got all the stuff. I just got to make it.
You can do that, and then I'll be why can't I think of his name? Not Kanan, Ezra, because I want to do live action.
Let's go,
Ezra.
dude. Let's go. Heck yeah. Well, thank you, man, so much for taking we literally just hit 2 hours just now, so that's awesome. Thank you for taking 2 hours out of your time. Let the people know where they can find you at.
So yeah, I mean, I'm on TikTok and Instagram. My name is Darth Samarius. It's a C, but it sounds like an S. I know. I pretty much will be posting about my cosplay adventures, and just joined the 501st, so I'll be hopefully posting stuff about then. I don't know how much I'll be able to be on my phone in that outfit, but hopefully we'll get some stuff of that. I'm doing my Han Solo build. I'm doing a Call of Duty Ghost build right now, and I got tutorials on there, and I got just fun videos, and
heck yeah, dude.
Again, and I think I speak for both of us when I say this, like, if you want advice or you need help or anything like that, or you're just trying to get into it or want to talk about Star Wars, like, I'm free to message, and we love all you guys that watch and everything, like, support anything that has to do with that. We want to do that for you guys. Like, we want to push out this stuff because you guys are fans. Like, we all want to have this community and be tight knitted together with everyone. So yeah, I'll be there and I'll be waiting.
Heck yeah, dude. Well said. Well, thank you guys for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.